All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mark Hart. I'm the Vice President of Business Development here at ACDI, and we all want to thank you for taking the time to join us on this webinar today. We have the pleasure of having Ryan Huizinga, one of our solution architects, join us today to take you through a preview of what's coming in version 21.0 of PaperCut MF. The product, don't be worried, it hasn't hit the market yet. You guys will get access to this next week. We just wanted to give you a quick overview of what the product is, what the new features and functions are going to be delivered in this release, and give you some time to prepare for it. So thank you, as always, for taking the time and joining us. Throughout the presentation, if you have any questions, please feel free to use the chat feature on the right-hand side. We've got a great group of solution architects and salespeople there to help assist with any questions that you might have. And with that, Ryan, you there? You ready to go?
Hey, Mark, can you hear me?
We got you loud and clear.
Fantastic. Hello, everybody. My name is Ryan. This is my voice, and I work here at ACDI as a pre-sales solutions architect. So I get the luxury and the opportunity to work with you and your customers and explore all the facets of PaperCut and how it can quickly accommodate and enhance your user's experience. Today, I get the fortunate action of exploring PaperCut version 21 and talking and discussing all the feature sets. And like Mark mentioned, there's a chat there. If there's technical questions, things you want to try to stump us on, or things I just said that just didn't make sense, please put a question in the chat and we'll get you taken care of. Let's go and kick this off. There we go. All right, cool. So on the agenda today, we're going to look at a few core things here. Fax server connector integration. That's right, I said it, fax server connector integration. Also, we're going to look at the new Microsoft Universal Print connector integration, and also some enhancements to user directory sync sources, such as the Google Cloud Directory, multiple domain support, and some new enhancements to the Azure AD Sync, along with some other gems that we're going to go ahead and drop in there. So pay attention. Here we go. So the first thing we're going to look at is PaperCut faxing. Wow, let's just sit there and look at that for a moment. This is exciting to see those two words in the same sentence, and now here it is. So what does this mean? Well, PaperCut has been listening. It's been highly requested, and now it's here. We have a new scan action that's going to allow the customer to enable their users to quickly deliver faxes from PaperCut's integrated scanning interface right into their preferred fax provider. All right, let me say that again. We're going to have a scan action, well, let's call it a fax action, allowing the user to quickly send a fax to their preferred fax provider right from the same interface that they do all the scanning, scan to email, scan to folder, scan to cloud, now fax to server. All right. What's going to happen is coming soon, right around the corner. It wasn't ready for 21.0, but I was advised it's in 21.1, so it is already developed. It's ready to rock and roll. It's the ability when that user accesses that fax action, they're going to have an address book. So we're going to be able to draw destinations from either their personal or their shared address book that's already been configured within that fax server provider. All right, which is great. And now since we're integrating directly with that fax server, we're also going to give them peace of mind that those confirmation sheets are going to be routed and configured appropriately. So however that fax provider is configured to send confirmation sheets, whether back to the individual user, a dedicated inbox, or a group of users, that's still going to happen and hold true. All right, exciting stuff here. Now here, let's talk about some of the delivery methods that are going to be available. So you see two different options here. So over on the left, the API delivery. This is going to be the more advanced, more secure, more robust connector that's going to be integrating directly with that fax provider. Now these are dedicated fax connectors, okay? So don't think it's a generic connector. We have to go in, do some advanced scripting just to get it to work with the fax provider. Nope, PaperCut did it the smart way. They said, hey, we're going to build a connector for each fax provider. That way we can have quick and easy development. It's easy to test, faster releases for any type of bug fixes or enhancements for that fax provider. It also adds an opportunity for some third parties to go ahead and write their own connectors and be able to drop those in right into PaperCut without having to update the system or wait for new feature enhancements or a full install, which is fantastic. Now, the other method there, you see the generic SMTP delivery. So yeah, we're going to leverage that simple email protocol, allowing the user to go ahead and scan that image, and then PaperCut will go ahead and draft an email with a supported email attachment and send it right to that fax service. as long as it's configured with an SMTP gateway and it's ready to ingest an email coming in with a supported file type, PDF, TIFF, JPEG, and then process it properly. So 2 delivery methods are going to be available with this new fax integration in version 21. Now, I don't want to give away too much stuff. I do want to encourage you to install version 21 when it becomes available to you in the next couple of weeks. Get it in your demo rooms, see what this integration really does, test it out, and also work with us here at ACDI Presales. We want to go ahead and help you configure those or demo this for your customers. All right, so let's take a look at what platforms are going to be able to support these type of integrations. So over on the left, the advanced experience. This is going to be that API that I mentioned before. So you see it's a short list right out of the gate for this initial release. We got 2 manufacturers, Konica Minolta and Toshiba, that are ready to utilize this. But we know PaperCut is focused on delivering a vendor-neutral solution. So we feel confident that as more platforms, this list is going to grow quickly, and they already have things in the pipeline. But as of today, those are the 2 manufacturers that are going to support the API integration. Over on the right, the basic experience, leveraging that email handshake there. We have a much longer list. There's actually a few more manufacturers that didn't make it on this slide deck. Once again, encouraging you to install version 21 and see what that full list is. Now, you'll see that footnote at the bottom. PaperCut version 21 is not Konica Minolta Best Certified currently. That is being processed right now. So feel good that Best Certification is happening now. Once that stamp gets put on there, we're rocking and rolling. We're good to go with Konica Minolta in version 21 out the gate. We've tested it and installed it in-house just to kind of see how it operates, and it works great, but we want to get that stamp of approval, make sure it passes through, and it's fully supported end-to-end. Now, I just threw a lot of stuff at you. If you have questions, please route them to the chat. We still have a few more pieces of information about this because you're probably wondering, okay, Ryan, there's this new fax integration. Users are going to be able to walk up and type in a fax number or select from an address book on a Konica Minolta or Toshiba, or now they can do fax integration. But what fax server providers are we talking about? Well, let's take a look here. So right out of the gate, PaperCut and OpenText have a great partnership, and they built a dedicated connector that is inside version 21 today. Now, this is the API connection. It's already configured to talk to the right fax server, so there's only a few pieces of information we need the admin to configure. So they're not going to sit there and do scripting and try to do endpoints here. We're going to ask that admin, hey, please tell us the API URL. Where's WriteFax living in the environment or in the cloud? Give us some credentials so we can authenticate with it securely, and then test the connection. So yeah, PaperCut said, great, we're going to give you a fax connector here, but we're also going to allow you to test the connection before you deploy it out to your end users so you can iron out any hiccups. Therefore, you're providing a solution and not a problem. And then beyond that, when that fax connector is developed and deployed to your users, you get to determine what type of experience that user is going to have with their fax destinations. Is it a static destination? When a user walks up, they're able to hit, yep, this fax goes straight to the pharmacy, or this one goes straight to accounts payable? Or is it going to be a dynamic entry, allowing that user to type in a one-off fax number for any destinations they choose from? And you're not limited to the number of fax destinations you can have within the address book. That's the luxury of PaperCut. You'll just have to determine, label those buttons logically, right? Say, hey, well, this one goes to accounts payable, or this one's maybe fax anywhere. All right, so really cool stuff coming there. And of course, when that enhancement comes out with that address book, that user's going to have that same look and feel, that personal address book or global address book, and be able to choose from a list there. Next on the list was Xmedius. We have a connector in Xmedius, Xmedius on-prem, and Xmedius cloud. Same process there. We're going to ask that admin for 3 pieces of information. Give us an API URL, give us some credentials, test the connection, and choose how you want your users to enter or use that scan destination. Is it a static number, or is it dynamic entry? And of course, that address book will definitely enhance the experience there. All right, now there is another one in there. I'm not going to share that here, but I want you to go and install version 21. So PaperCut is actively adding new connectors and encouraging the global community to start bringing on their connectors and adding and enhancing and expanding this environment. Now, one thing we need to point out, there is licensing involved. I know this is hard to believe. PaperCut does very few items that are licensed, but this is a highly requested and utilized feature set that they feel is going to have a lot of traction. So licensing is required for some things. As you can see there, the fax via SMTP. So the ability to quickly just draft an email with a supported attachment and get it ingested in your fax server, that's going to be built in. That's going to be included at no cost. Okay? That's where admins can set that up today, and we're ready to go. The API, the more advanced method, that's going to be a chargeable service. That's going to be purchased and going to be a line item that we're going to refer to as a fax connector. Now, fax connector prices are based on the number of devices. Makes sense. I have a fleet of 150 embedded MFPs. I want to make sure faxing is on all of those. Well, I need 150 fax connectors to accommodate those. Now, this next slide, Mark, do you want to expand on this about the SKUs?
Yeah, Ryan, thank you very much. So we will have a new price book that's coming out for everyone that kind of details the new SKUs associated with the fax integrations. As you'll see, they'll be broken up into 5 different bundles. There is a minimum of 10 devices that will be required. So if you have 8, you'll just buy the 10 device minimum initial bundle. But then as you go on, just equate that to the number of devices that you would have embedded on PaperCut, and you'll be able to acquire this new interface with the faxing interface. So it's not based on a unique OEM as the embeddeds are. You just need to have the total number of devices that you want to have integrated directly into the fax servers.
Great, thanks, Mark. Now, this, I was wondering, is faxing still being used? And I saw this right here. Do you want to expand on this? These are some big numbers.
No, it is, right? And it's kind of like, you know, fax machines are not going away. It's still one of the most secure methods of communication in our industry today. And so as you see, there's some great numbers talking about what exists out there in the fax landscape. And COVID actually increased the number of communications happening over fax. So we feel like there's still a strong market for this, and having the ability now to do it within your PaperCut interface is something that we all feel like is a great advantage for you and for your customers to have that single user experience moving forward.
Fantastic. I know me personally, on the pre-sale side, I've got a list of resellers and customers that said, Ryan, can you email me directly when this feature becomes available in the next year or so? That was from a year ago, so I'm getting excited to reach out to them directly and say, it's here, let's do this. And they currently already have a print management solution that they're ready to rip and replace and put PaperCut in place, which is fantastic. Here on the benefits page here, customers specifically in healthcare and manufacturing are looking to send faxes regardless of their MFD brand and connector to their preferred fax provider. Well, PaperCut's the vendor-neutral solution to help with that workflow. The next thing, they want to ensure they don't want to have users authenticate multiple times on the device. One, to authenticate to unlock the device. Another one, to authenticate with the plugin, the fax provider. So now single sign-ons. Once they log in with PaperCut, we know who they are. We can go ahead and pass that information into that that fax action, and now that user can feel peace of mind that the confirmation pages, the logging of that fax job, the status of that is going to be logged appropriately based on the logged in user, which is fantastic. Beyond that, now since we know the logged in user, and now we have a direct advanced API integration with that fax provider, we can draw that address book, give them that dynamic lookup of addresses so they don't have to memorize all those fax numbers, because that's the one thing we don't want to do. We don't want to burden that nurse to have to memorize 18 different fax numbers. They need to be able to walk up, put those documents in, say, yep, this is going to the pharmacy, and walk away and have peace of mind there. Now, this last sentence here, I like saying this. Administrators want control over who can send what where, okay? And so what does that mean? Well, in PaperCut, scan actions are assigned to users and user groups, which means now an administrator can have peace of mind saying, I'm going to create these fax scan actions, and this is going to apply to this department or this individual user, so I can feel confident when they walk up to any managed device. When they log in, those fax scan action buttons are going to be right there relevant for them, and they're going to follow them throughout the environment as they log in successfully to each device, which means now a user, when they log in, they're not going to have to sift through 5, 10, 100 different fax destinations just to find the 2 that are relevant to them. Now we're going to have a more customizable kind of find me scanning address book workflow, which is already built into integrated scanning if you're using that today. So now it's just going to go ahead and leverage that same type of peace of mind for the admin there. All right. That's fax integration, folks. We threw a lot of stuff at you. Hopefully you got some questions in there. If not, we're here at ACDI on the pre-sales team to go ahead and accommodate those demos, technical Q&A, want to sit down and just chat about it, or you want to get it in your demo rooms as an NFR and start seeing what it does. Fantastic. All right, next on the docket was Microsoft Universal Print. This has been really popular. out there. I've had a lot of conversations daily, customers exploring universal print and understanding is there a platform? Will PaperCut work with it? The answer is yes, in short here. So PaperCut MF is now the easiest to configure, easiest to use, full-featured print management solution for universal print. All right, and we're going to show you, we're going to speak to that too. So what is universal print? Well, it's a new cloud platform that provides print infrastructure and enablement, but no print management. Kind of interesting. Now, universal print is actually being targeted by Microsoft on their education customers, so that's the conversations I'm having daily with my sales reps and the partners like you, and also all of Microsoft's established commercial audience. So basically, everybody that has Office 365, Microsoft 365, they're seeing this push in their face, and they're wondering, how can we leverage this? How can we use it? We already have PaperCut. Do I need to disparage the system? Can they talk together? They can talk together. And it looks here they have a pretty large audience there, 230 million monthly active users. Wow, that's a big audience there. Fantastic. All right, so some things to know about this universal connector that is actually built in to version 21, which is fantastic. So this is not a licensed feature. This is built in. You might have seen some of it in version 20.1 if you enabled it. If you have an Azure platform you can connect to and kind of see how it works. If not, I'll show you a screenshot here in a moment. So version 21.0 will have a UI, a GUI driven for the admin to quickly jump into PaperCut Admin Console and manage the universal print connector from a distance. Because we all know PaperCut MF is web-based management, which means I need to have a device that has connectivity to my application server and has some type of web browser functionality. If I can accommodate all those, I can manage PaperCut from anywhere. But for older versions of PaperCut, where we have, let's say, 20.1, they can still download the connector, install it manually, but it'll be command line driven. So it's just opening up a DOS prompt, typing in a few characters, hitting enter twice. It still works, but you need to have access to the server to go ahead and run those command line instead of having the luxury of this interface right here. So this is a sneak preview of what the PaperCut Universal Print Connector is going to look like within the admin interface. So it's tucked away inside Enable Printing, where you're going to find Print Deploy, Mobility Print, and some other BYOD print solutions. So Universal Print is right there. It's quick and easy to set up. Of course, we have a great write-up on it, so it can definitely get your admins expedited into getting the setup. But as you can see from the interface, it's very quick and easy. Not a lot going on. It's connected. It's showing me the status. It's showing what printers I have available. And all I need to do is click Register on the right, and it does all this magic. Once you click Register, it is going to ask you a few more questions, easy stuff. It's going to give you a token and take you directly to your Azure Platform OAuth page, so it can make that secure connection, and then right away it'll give you a stat if it's registered, and now that customer, that user, that admin can go ahead and deploy those printers to the Universal Print platform easily and accessibly and be tracked by PaperCut. So now we're bolting on PaperCut and Universal Print. All right. Let's go and sum things up. Let's look at what we got going on here. There are some, I would say, limitations, but it's just the way Universal Print works, and some things that they're not filling in all the gaps, but it is this print enablement. It's not print management. So over on the left is what Universal Print brings to the table. On the right, how PaperCut can accommodate, enhance, or fill in the gaps. So let's take a look at these. Going down the list here, only supports printing from Windows 10 clients. Yes, that's true. Universal Print is just for deploying to Windows 10 clients. So if that customer has other operating systems like Mac, Windows, Android, iOS, you can see on the right there, PaperCut Mobility Print can quickly accommodate that. So now the customer can use Universal Print on their Windows 10 and feel confident that they have another solution to deliver printing services, printer objects to these other operating systems, so giving them a full holistic solution. Universal Print does not provide any type of Find Me printing or secure release. Well, that's where PaperCut comes in. And like I showed you on the previous screen, right away you can go ahead and register Find Me queues inside Universal Print. And so you can give that user that same experience, one queue, to be able to release a job at any managed device. Doesn't support scanning. Well, that makes sense. It's called Universal Print, not Universal Print and Scan, but no problem. That's where PaperCut MF comes in with our integrated scanning, scan to email, scan to folder, scan to cloud, and now the new integrated fax. So it's a great complement there to kind of make that a more enhanced environment. Now, right here, this next one, volume limits with tiered pricing. I wasn't aware of that. I did some homework. I didn't know that Universal Print has actually print limits based on licensing. But If you want to go ahead and just lean on Universal Print for controlling and managing how much users print, you can do that. Or what we'd recommend is use the policies and quotas and charging tools inside PaperCut MF to give you a more enhanced, more intelligent way to kind of assist your users on more appropriate printing behavior, converting to black and white or using that blank side, that second side, a piece of paper. All right, so over on the left again, customer wants help with driver and printer deployment, but have Macs, Linux, and Chromebooks. Well, we addressed that. PaperCut MF and Print Deploy can definitely accommodate that. And that's what I've been kind of dealing with. That's been the main discussion here. We have like customers that are Universal Print, and they're finding out, wow, PaperCut Print Deploy does what Universal Print could do, but with a lot more feature sets and augmentation, which is fantastic. So right away, Print Deploy can quickly accommodate those other operating systems where Universal Print can only cover those Windows 10. And the last one, all print jobs traverse Azure Cloud, even the clients on the LAN. That makes sense. It's a cloud-hosted print solution. So jobs are going to print, they're going to traverse into the Azure Cloud and come back down to that printer object, that physical device, and make paper. But maybe that admin wants to control bandwidth, wants to eliminate chatter, doesn't want jobs going up and down that pipe. That's where you can introduce and encourage PaperCut MF with mobility print, can keep those jobs on-prem. And I know we really haven't discussed it here, but Hive, PaperCut Hive, the Edge Mesh can also keep those jobs localized in that environment. All right. Hopefully you gathered all that. If not, this thing is being recorded. We can definitely share it out. But that was a lot of information on Universal Print. So just know the connector's built in. There's a nice KB out there to show you how to configure it. But now it's all GUI driven, so we got you covered there. All right. Moving on to the next one, directory sync sources. All right. So we know PaperCut, we need to bring our users in. Users are the most important thing to PaperCut and the user experience. So we're in a day and time where PaperCut needs to be at the forefront, ready to accommodate and to test to those users of what they want to do today or tomorrow with moving information and their resources into the cloud, and of course their user directory sync sources. So PaperCut is there to accommodate it quick and easy. So Google Cloud Directory, that's a heavy hitter, especially in education. Now they've included multiple domain support for Google Cloud Directory. Now this will affect school networks or large organizations with multiple business units. All right, that's great stuff. It came out of Percolator. It's quick and easy. There's a GUI built into version 21 with a quick write-up. There's really no homework, just some quick configuration. But I want to put a halt there. I want to kind of make you aware of something. If by chance you have a customer that's planning to implement this that already has PaperCut installed, it is an existing PaperCut install, I want you to take a minute. I want you to review the technical resources or engage ACDI. The reason why I say that, when you try to enable multi-domain support on an existing platform, we are going to make some changes to the database, and we want to make sure you and the customer are aware of the considerations and any constraints, because we are making changes to that database and how users are represented inside PaperCut. I'm not saying, hey, it's going to be broken. We just want to make sure you're delivering a solution and not a problem, okay? So if you do have existing PaperCut customers that want to explore multiple domain support, please reach out to us for the technical information or for assistance in getting that configured, okay? The next one is Azure Active Directory. Where you're like, Ryan, Azure Active Directory has already been there. It's true, it has been in there. But what we've been able to do with Azure Active Directory connection was only through secure LDAP, which requires the customer to purchase an additional service called Azure AD Services, which can be expensive depending on the size of the organization. All right, so version 21 introduces an additional method for integrating with Azure AD, not requiring those Azure AD services to be purchased. So it's a more cost-effective way to get this done. And this will leverage Microsoft's Graph API. So once again, this Microsoft Graph API integration is not a LDAP reimplementation. We didn't just take the previous integration and make a few changes, change a few words, and said smoke and mirrors. Oh yeah, it's new. No, this is literally using the Microsoft Graph API. It's completely different. So there are some differences in there. Especially one of the differences is going to be the authentication methods available for the user utilizing the Graph API. Now, I don't want to get too nerdy. I know I work on the technical side. But if you do want some clarification on that, go ahead and throw a question in the chat or reach out to us via email, phone, text, whatever, and we can go and schedule a meeting, sit down, and kind of review that material together, okay? All right, so those are sync sources there. So we kind of covered the main items of version 21. Here's some of the additional enhancements that's constantly happening. Thank you, PaperCut, for continuous deployment and just adding new features, new Easter eggs in the background. So one of them is going to be integrated scanning, now supporting mixed originals. Originally, it was just supported on Ricos, and now it's been included with Sharp on the N2 embed, and that list will quickly grow. PaperCut focuses on a vendor-neutral solution, so they want to make sure it works on every single manufacturer before they say, yeah, go ahead, test it out. Oh, it doesn't work. Oh, sorry about that. Nope, they want to make sure it's tried and true because they want to be able to support you and those customers. All right, the next line item there, Mobility Print's Cloud Print out of beta as far as the ability to provide off-network printing. Hopefully this isn't new information to you about Cloud Print. We've been chatting about it for a long time, the ability to allow users that are off the network to print from their Chromebooks, Windows, or Macs safely and securely. So that is currently supported there. What I want to make sure that you understand is that the Chromebooks, the Windows, and the Macs, it will be continuous upgrades and deployment, so that's why it was out in beta for a while there. The Mac OS, they wanted to make sure as they added enhancements to that mobility print off-network client that they can do that from a distance, not requiring the user to go ahead and install a whole new client. All right, the next item there, this is a little bit more specific. This is for those HP partners out there. You're embedding those HPs. Now you're going to have the ability to log in directly to the PaperCut MF home screen. Well, you're like, Ryan, we've always been able to do that. Well, what you had was this little stop gate there. You had this white screen where you had to instruct the user, oh, you need to click sign in, and then now you can authenticate with PaperCut. Well, now it's going away. So with this new enhanced HP OXP embed, you can go ahead and quickly have them present with the PaperCut login screen right away. Now, this does require Future Smart version 4.6 or higher, which we know is just a quick firmware upgrade, and right away you can go ahead and deploy that enhancement there. There's some config keys, some technical write-up on there. We're here to help you out and pass those that information onto you so you can go ahead and give it onto your technical resources. All right, the last bullet point here, device language selection. Basically, a user is able to walk up and now they can change the type of language that's available to them at the MFP. There's going to be 31 different languages they can choose from. This has now just been introduced for the Toshiba model. This previously is supported on the Konica Minolta, Kyocera, and Ricoh, so now included on the Toshiba. So this isn't really something new. It's just something they're enhancing. They're adding more platforms to go and support that architecture there. All right, there's a few mentionables there. Now, we've talked about a lot of information. If you didn't hear anything I said or memorize everything I said, or you just kind of glared over, you're just joining right now, what we're encouraging is version 21 has some ideal feature sets that can definitely help your customers, especially in the healthcare with fax servers, definitely with some Azure platform and universal print, and those Google Cloud Directory partners we have out there. So what we're encouraging is you to upgrade. Why should we upgrade? Well, you get access to more features, more feature sets, and that's included in their M&S. So if your customers have current M&S, they're going to have access to upgrade on their own, or they can reach out to you and you can provide some professional services to assist them with that. Also give you an opportunity for some upsell there. Maybe some professional services you can add on, or that licensing for those fax connectors, because I'm thinking some of you out there have some customers that have been waiting in the background for some type of fax integration to come around so they can have a siloed and a centralized interface all through PaperCut. Also, as you're providing some consulting services, you're increasing the lifetime of value. You're preventing that churn, which is fantastic, just building that partnership stronger. Also gives you the opportunity to introduce some new products like PaperCut Multiverse and PaperCut data visualization tools like Storyboard. Now, if that's the first time you're hearing those words, Multiverse and Storyboard, please reach out. These are some great platforms, and they give you some cool tactics to go ahead and quickly enhance that user's environment and provide additional services to them at a cost if you'd like. Multiverse and Storyboard. All right. I did a lot of talking. I almost used all the words. Like I mentioned before, my name is Ryan. I work here at ACDI as a pre-sales solution architect. So I get the opportunity to work with you and your customers, and I'm surrounded by a team of some smarter individuals that also do the same thing. And here's some of the services we provide. So dad jokes, yep, we got them. Customer demos, we love doing customer demos. We like sitting down with your customers and exploring PaperCut and expanding and kind of curtailing and customizing PaperCut to fit their specific criteria and workflow. Of course, technical Q&As. If you need to say, hey Ryan, hey Chris, hey Eric, hey Luke, hey Kevin, hey Chris with a C, I want to sit down. There's this feature set in here. I'm trying to set something up. Can you help me out? Absolutely. We can do that. Pre-sale support, that's what it's all about. We do have a dedicated pre-sale support email, so right away you can email questions into us and we can get you helped out right away or give you a quick phone call to get that knocked out. Technical trainings for our resellers. We know we got some new employees coming in, new staff. They want to get bumped up on PaperCut. We can help them out with that. We can direct you in the direction of what type of resources you need to go ahead and review, complete, certifications, and if you need some advanced focus on a specific feature set, we're here to help. And something else here, PaperCut MF and PaperCut MF trials and Hive trials. ACDI, we provide that as a service to you and your end customers. Basically, it's an assisted trial. You send a request to us, we'll send a quick email back. We'll say, hey, let's sit down. Let's have a quick 15-minute call with your customer. Let's schedule a time to get this trial installed. And right away, we can get PaperCut installed with your customer, test out these feature sets in a nice completed POC. And then really, it's just them kind of kicking the tires and making sure, yep, PaperCut does exactly what I needed to do, X, Y, and Z, and plus it does A, B, C all the way through Z if we needed to. And of course, if you just don't want to talk about PaperCut or print management, anything technical, we can definitely provide recommendations on music, movies, or vegan recipes. We like to help. All right, so thank you for your time, everybody. I'm going to hand it over to Mark here. Dear Mark, I think we did a good job. I'm on my own. It's just me.
I don't think Mark is off mute.
Well, it helps to unmute both the phone and the WebEx. So my apologies there. No, Ryan, you did a great job, and thank you so much. And just want to say thanks for all the questions that are coming in. There's a ton of questions going back and forth. One was, what is a percolator? Ryan did use that term. It is where PaperCut posts all of the beta applications that they're kind of working on right now and new things that are coming out for PaperCut, not just MF, but other products. So with that, I sent a link there in the chat window that you can get to the Percolator page for PaperCut to go out there and view all the different things that they're working on. Another valuable thing, Ryan talked about upgrades. We really want to make sure that you know the value or your customers know the value of upgrading to the different versions of PaperCut. So the PaperCut marketing team has done a great job of putting together a single page document that explains what are the highlights from version 18, 19, 20 to 21. If you have a customer that's on an older version, we definitely recommend that you send this document over to them to show them what they're missing or what could be available in the new releases. We'll actually add that link now to the chat window that you can get access to that. If you get an error saying you don't have an access, then that means you need to get a user ID for the PaperCut portal, and the ACDI RSMs can definitely help you out with that. So great job. If there are any other questions, please feel free to send them over in the chat window now. If not, we do appreciate you being with us today. We will package this video up. It was being recorded, and we'll get it sent out or placed on the ACDI YouTube page sometime next week. Again, the channel availability for this product will be April 13th. You'll get emails from us. You'll probably get emails from PaperCut letting you know that it has hit the portal, and you can go download the setup files and get everything configured. Ryan, thank you again for your time and taking us through this. And with that, we'll end today's session. You guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.